ask you a question. If I give you 70 million naira today, what would you buy? Yes, because something interesting happens when you take 70 million naira to the market across Nigeria. Let me give you an example. In Mowe, 70 million naira can actually get you a fully detached bungalow with a BQ with 4 parking spaces conveniently. And this same 70 million naira in Ibeju-Lekki can get you just 1 plot of land. Then we now have Ibadan. Can you believe that this same 70 million naira can get you 20 acres or more in Ibadan? Sounds interesting, right? Now, the question is, which one is actually the better investment? And that is what we are going to talk about today. We are going to look at this today from different angles and perspectives. But before we start, let me make something very clear. I am not going to tell you that one of these options is automatically better than the other, because properties doesn't work like that. The better property depends on what you want to use the 70 million naira to achieve. Do you need a home? Do you want appreciation? Do you want land banking? Or you want something that can develop later? These are completely different goals. So let us look at the 3 options properly. The first option is Mowe. With around 70 million naira, you can potentially get a fully detached bungalow with a BQ with 4 parking spaces conveniently in Mowe today. This also depends on the specific development and current availability. And for me, the biggest advantage here is simple. You are buying something you can actually use. If you are starting a family or you are tired of paying rent, this option makes a lot of sense. You're not just buying land and waiting for development. You have an actual property you can live in, you can potentially rent it, and over time, the property appreciates as the surrounding area develops. But here is the trade-off. You are putting a significant portion of your 70 million naira in a physical building. Remember, building requires maintenance. So if your goal is land appreciation, this may not necessarily be what I recommend for you. But if your goal is home ownership plus potential appreciation, then Mowe becomes very interesting. Option 2, Ibeju-Lekki. Now let's move to Ibeju-Lekki. This is where the conversation changes. With 70 million naira, depending on exact location, the title, the size, the location, and development stage, you could potentially get or acquire a land in this area. And the reason people think of Ibeju-Lekki is because they are getting long-term value. You are not necessarily buying something you need tomorrow. You are buying a position in an area where development is taking place. So if you already have somewhere to live in and your main objective is capital appreciation and future development, land could make more sense to you in this location. But this is very important. Don't hear Ibeju-Lekki and immediately think or assume every piece of land there is a good investment. The exact location matters, the title matters, the accessibility matters, the surrounding development also matters, and who you're buying from matters as well. So this is where proper due diligence becomes extremely important. The trade-off, patience. If you need money to start producing income immediately, then raw land investment is not your best option. You are essentially buying today with a future plan in mind. Option 3, Ibadan. And this is where things get really interesting, because if your priority is size, then your 70 million naira can potentially put you in a completely different categories of property. In some parts of Ibadan, you could potentially be looking at 20 acres or more, depending on the location, the title, and the current development in the area. Now compare this with buying a single house or a much smaller plot of land. You're suddenly controlling a much larger piece of land, and this could appeal to someone interested in agriculture, land banking, future development, or simply building a substantial land portfolio. But again, don't get carried away by the acreage. 20 acres sounds amazing, right? Mind you, acreage alone doesn't make a land a good investment. You have to ask, where exactly is it? What is the title? Is the land accessible? What is happening around the area? Can the land be actually used for the purpose you have in mind? And what is your exit plan? Because the trade-off here is probably the biggest of the three. You may need a lot more patience because you're buying a much larger asset, but that doesn't automatically means you can sell it tomorrow. for a huge profit. So now, if you have 70 million naira, what should you actually buy? This is where I want you to forget about the question. Where can 70 million naira buy the most land? That's not necessarily the right question. The better question is, what do I need my 70 million naira to do for me? If you need a home and you want something you can use right now, then I'd look at the Mowe option. If you already have a home and you're thinking about a long-term appreciation, then Ibeju-Lekki could be worth considering. And if your priority is controlling a larger piece of land for agriculture, for land banking, or future development, then the Ibadan option could make sense. 3 properties, 70 million naira, completely different purposes. If it were my own money, I wouldn't choose based on which options looks bigger on paper. I'd rather choose based on my goal, my timeline, and my risk tolerance. Because the biggest mistake you can make in real estate is buying the right property for a wrong reason. A 3-bedroom bungalow might be the perfect investment for one person. Land might also be the perfect investment for another. And 20 acres might just be completely unnecessary for someone else. So don't just ask, what can 70 million naira buy for me? Ask, what can 70 million naira do for me? And that is the question that should guide your decision. If you have a budget that you're trying to invest and you're not sure what makes the most sense, send a message to me. Just tell me 2 things: your budget and what you're trying to achieve with it. Is it a home, appreciation, rental income, land banking, future development? I will help you look at the option that actually fits your goal and the budget. And if your budget isn't enough for what you want yet, I will tell you that too. Because I would rather tell you the truth today than to sell you the wrong property and have you regret it tomorrow. Subscribe, like, and send your comments to the comment section below. This is your ultimate realtor, Rashida Karamola. See you in my next video for more useful real estate tips. And bye for now.